this is Connie, and we're going to be talking to Connie Bell-Dixon about her her path and what she's doing now, and some of the exciting things that she might want to share with us. I know Connie through a meetup group, and I'm going to let you tell us more about the meetup group and how that came about.
Okay, thank you, Delia. Thank you for doing all this. I think it's really wonderful. There's so many talented people in the area, and this is a great way to get it out. My path really started as a child. I had a lot of experiences such as precognitive dreams, which are dreams that foretell the future, and I would have visions and things like that. And then as I got to high school, I found out that I could hold something and get the general emotion of, like when someone sent me a letter, I was able to pick it up and say, oh my goodness, something happened. And then I would open the letter and read it, never knowing that that was called psychometry. And then as time went on, in my late teens, I had a very close friend die in a car accident, and I started feeling his spirit around me. And at that point, I was like, I think I need to find out what this is all about. So then I started studying. And I studied all through my 20s, and I just kept going. It's always been an interest. Energy is just amazing. And I also got stuck on the question, if we only use 10% of our brains, what can the other 90% do? And there is so much we can do, so much. So my path kind of led me to study several healing modalities, and I kind of got very interested in Reiki, and I became a Reiki master, and I now teach Reiki also. But about 6 years ago, it'll be 6 years in April, I thought, well, I found meetup.com, and I thought, well, maybe I could help a few beginners learn a few things. So I started the Lansdale Philly Psychic Development Group, and I could have never dreamt what it has turned into.
Oh, wow.
I have over 1,000 members, and I have a Lansdale Reiki meetup group. So it has expanded, and it's just wonderful to help people on their path and discover their talents and just enjoy finding out just so many things.
Yeah, that's so cool. So tell me a little more about Reiki and how, I know I even took a Reiki course from you, which is awesome. So what do you love about that?
Reiki is channeling a very gentle, loving energy, and it's just offering it to the person, and then the person uses the energy for whatever they want. But because I've had a lot of background in intuitive skills, a lot of my other talents come into play when I work on someone. For instance, sometimes spirits that belong to the person will come in with messages as I'm working on the person. Also, people have what's called cellular memory, which our cells really retain a lot of knowledge from past lives that we've had. And sometimes when we're still attached to those past lives, we can still have emotional and physical ailments from those lifetimes. So many times as I'm working on someone, I will get information on a past lifetime, and I try and help them clear it, understand it, clear it, and hopefully that helps them continue on their path here.
Wow. Do you have examples of that happening?
Yeah, for sure. For instance, one woman I was working on, believe it or not, I got to her knee. I've gotten to a point where body parts talk to me. I know that sounds really strange, but they do. They just hold information. And I got to this one woman's knee, and I saw lips moving. And I said, okay, someone needs to speak. Go ahead and speak. And they showed me a past lifetime of an old country store, probably in like the 1700s. And the woman had been a crippled child. And back then, cripples were not looked upon well at all. They were kind of the dregs of society. And her father owned this country store. It was all made of wood, just basic supplies of what you would need in the 1700s. But he would have her there at the store. So people coming into the store would just kind of say hello to her in a very disgusting kind of way, since she was there, and do their shopping and leave. So I asked my client, does this make any sense to you? And she said, oh my goodness, yes. She said, every time, any place I have ever visited where they have a country store that's totally made out of wood, I refuse to go in it. And I never knew why.
Wow. That is something.
So people hold on to a lot of things, a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
I've been able to go over a person's body where I feel like there's a line of pain. This one woman, she had a line of pain across her thigh. And I asked her if it ever hurt. And she said, yes, sometimes it does. And I never hurt myself there. So I started asking more questions. Here she had been a pirate and had had her leg chopped off there.
Oh my gosh. Who did you ask the questions to? Like your guides or?
Yeah, my guides, just spirit. I asked the body. I asked the person's body to tell me.
Oh,
So
wow.
someone in the spirit world helps me understand, or their body actually helps me understand what's going on with them.
Uh-huh. That must be really exciting.
Yes, it's morphed way beyond Reiki.
Yeah, sounds like
Way
it.
beyond.
And so what other things have you been doing besides the Reiki? I know you did photography initially. Is that something you still enjoy?
Yes, I still like photography. I love it. Just, anything in nature that I can capture is beautiful. Doing portraits for people and families, that's lovely too. I actually do a lot of photography for people going on dating sites.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So that's a lot of fun.
Uh-huh. And so I know you started out in the pharmaceutical business. What was your path like as far as your education and how you got involved in that?
Well, I've done many, many things.
Okay.
It would take much more than an hour to tell you my path, much more than an hour. I don't know even where to begin with that. I have a degree in education.
Oh,
So
okay.
that all kind of fits in with everything that I'm doing and everything I've ever done, really. Because when I did work in pharmaceuticals at one point in the 90s, I taught a computer program that analyzed gram-negative bacteria and antibiotics. And so I took that program all over the world and taught it and gave lectures using the information from that program. So,
That's cool.
and everywhere I traveled, I had different psychic experiences also. Probably, if you want to hear a story from one of those, I can tell you a fascinating one.
Sure.
For some reason, when I go south of Maryland, I'm just a mess. There are so many memories and so many things I see down south that happened that just weren't good. But this one time I was supposed to go to a small town in Alabama for a business meeting. And I was quite scared to go there. I was very, very nervous. I knew something had happened. I just didn't get a good feeling at all, but I went anyway. And I was riding with some colleagues in the car in a taxi from the airport to the hotel. It was the Marriott Hotel. And on the way, I'm looking around and I'm like, oh my gosh, this place has been hit with hurricanes over and over again. My colleagues were kind of used to me, kind of not believing, but somewhat believing. And they were just like, oh, Con, be quiet, be quiet. Get to the hotel, and I could just tell that there was so many things that had gone wrong in this hotel. So I walked in, and don't you know, they offered us a tour of the hotel. Out of all the hundreds of hotels I have been in, I was never offered a tour. They took me on this tour, and we got to this elevator, and they said, oh, yeah, the hotel years ago had a fire, but we saved a lot of the wood, and here this old wood is around the frame of the elevator. Well, I looked up, and all I could see on this piece of wood was blood.
Oh, my gosh.
So I knew it had been used as like a torture post almost, where they would tie people up in the dungeon, and it was just dreadful.
Oh.
So I finally got to check in, and I would run up and down the hallway to my room, just run. literally. I'd poke my head out, see if anybody was in the hallway, and then run to a meeting. And I finally said, okay, this is crazy. You've got to understand this. So I found a few minutes, and there was a little library in the hotel. And here there was a book on that property. And here the area had been hit by hurricanes over and over again, just like I had seen. And that area had been used as a port for when they were importing slaves.
Oh, wow.
Then the building that was built on it was used as a hospital for some of the wars. And then after the hospital, the war hospital, then it was an insane asylum. And then they had built the hotel.
Oh my gosh. There's a lot of spirits going on in there. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So after that, I was able to understand what I was feeling, and I was able to calm down.
Oh man. But you were able to stay there. That's the surprising part, because you would think this.
Well, I mean, after I understood what I was feeling, then I was able to calm down, and I just used my white light, which is white light protection, protection from your highest creator. And I would just surround myself with that, and I was okay.
Yeah, that's great. So what other parts of your current life do you enjoy the most?
Mostly just teaching and helping people develop. It's amazing how when you're in energy every day, you teach, you learn, you advance your own skills. I think one thing that has come out of all this is that I'm able to sit with people and figure out their talents and help them develop their skills and their talents.
Mm-hmm.
I try and support the meetup members as much as I can, and I help them and urge them to give lectures on topics that they're really good at.
Mm-hmm.
And this way they develop themselves. That's a thrill to see that and to help people recognize what they can do.
Yeah.
It's really very amazing. Very amazing.
Do you do any private coaching? Is that a business side, or is that just something you do for your own pleasure or the satisfaction of it?
It's just part of all of it. Anything in metaphysics that people need, I try and help them out, whether it's a reading or whether they want to develop skills, whether they need healing work. I try to just accommodate what it is they're looking for.
Uh-huh.
So it's a challenge.
Yeah. And it's something that you're pleased that you're doing it, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It feels like
I never thought I'd be doing it full time. Never.
Uh-huh.
But it's a lot. People don't understand how much work it is. And there's always a lot of research to do, a lot of planning, a lot of, I've really gotten into PowerPoint.
Oh, yeah.
So it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy to keep up with the meetups and developing new skills, new classes, find new speakers, because I also find that I don't know everything, and I never will, and neither will anyone else. So I always try to find other people that I can use their talents and their skills, like yourself, and just kind of maximize and bring everything I can to the table for my meetup members.
Yeah.
And lots of opportunities to learn many, many things.
Yeah, it's true. You really do. I was amazed when I first started coming how organized it was, and with the name tags and everything just was so like clockwork. And it's, I had been to a few meetups that were pretty casual, but it felt like, wow, this is like a business. This is for real.
Well, I feel like many people are taking time out of their day. They're traveling. Some of them travel very far to come to the meetup. So I really want to give them a lot of value if I can.
Right. That's great.
So I try to offer them the most that I possibly can.
I can see that. Okay. And so we're back online. We had a little power failure. I'm going to continue with the questions. We might be look a little different than when we were before, but that's okay.
But that's what high energy fields do. They blow out power lines.
There you go.
Be careful.
I know. All right. So I was starting to ask you how your family reacted to your powers, your superpowers.
Well, I have to say that it made them feel very uncomfortable.
Mm.
Many of the people around me don't understand expanding your mind like that and doing metaphysics. They kind of think it's just weird. In fact, I got, told so many times that I was weird that I actually have a plaque on my kitchen wall that says, "I am not weird, I'm gifted." And that helped a lot.
Uh-huh.
And that's another reason that's a very powerful thing about Meetup is that people can be around other people that understand their languages and their experiences. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's so important. It's so absolutely important because people are not all going to understand how you can see spirits or how you can talk to them or how you can use energy to help you heal. I mean, just not everybody's of that mind.
Right.
So it's very, very important to be around people who understand you, where you can be yourself, where you're validated for your
Mm-hmm.
gifts, and they truly are gifts. So, and even though the average person can do what everybody else does in this field, there's a lot of fear involved, and so they will shut it out. Society has its rules as to what's normal and what's not normal.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think this gives people like myself and many others who have abilities and experiences a place to be their normal.
Right.
So that's very, very important.
Yeah, that's true, to feel accepted and validated. And you do believe that everybody has like a sixth sense and has the ability to do the things that you do, but they just don't, they push it down or they don't recognize it?
A lot of times. I mean, the way it was explained to me a long time ago was that um, psychic abilities are the same as any other ability you have. So let's talk about math. Everybody has the ability to do math. Now, some people have a lot of ability, some have a little bit. So some people just do 2 plus 2 and that's fine. Some people go all the way to calculus and, financial gurus, etc.
Right.
So it's the gamut of abilities. But so you have to have some ability. You also have to have an interest enough to educate it. And then you have to practice. And then I always say from practicing, you go to whether you use your ability to do good or whether you use it to do bad. And I'm only interested in the people who want to use their abilities for good.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you go back to mathematics, I mean, there are people who use their mathematical abilities to scam or skim or whatever you want to call it. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's others who use their math abilities to help people build great financial futures or whatever it is that they
Mm-hmm.
positive. So
Yeah.
I do think everybody has a gift.
And how do you help people promote their gifts? Is it more support, or is there specific things you can do or that they can do to increase their powers, so to speak?
Well, I think if anybody wants to develop, I think they just need to come to classes. The more people you're around of like energy or higher energy, the more your energy fields are going to expand and rise. And
Right.
I think that's very, very important. So I think a lot of people have the natural ability to see spirits and communicate with spirits.
Right.
So one of the classes I teach the most is medium development. And I have level 1, level 2, and hopefully shortly I'll be creating level 3.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's very, very popular. Men come as well as women. So it's quite fascinating to help people develop and just learn the whole structure of what needs to be done and how to do it and to be safe
And
doing.
and that have people really been able to do it after their
Oh,
training? Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I actually had one woman who came to one of my meetings. Wednesday nights, I have something I call Readers University, which is just the opportunity for people to practice how they read and what they do in a reading. So they practice doing readings on each other. And one woman came in thinking it was a completely different class. And she sat down, and here she's a natural medium.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely wonderful. Wonderful.
That is so cool.
And there's many people who start out and they say, I can't do any of this. And a year later, it's amazing what they're doing. Amazing.
How did you learn how did you learn how to teach that? How did you figure that out? I guess you have to have that mediumship ability as well.
Right,
yeah,
right.
to
A
start with.
lot of it, yes. You start with your own experiences, basically, and you read a lot. You do a lot of research to help you because, like I say, you never know everything.
Mm-hmm.
So the more I read, the better I know. The more I know, the more I can impart. So, so you just keep
Yeah,
going, and the more experiences you have, the more they teach you too.
yeah. I read the book, but Dr. Love, Spirits, Love Never Dies, and
Okay.
she had this connection with her departed husband, who was like a religious person, and he said he was going to come back, and they were going to have this business together. And it's she does the radio talk show on Hay House, and
Okay.
but she described the process of like sitting down with the person you want to communicate with and just like have the conversation. It was pretty interesting. But yeah, so it's something that anybody can kind of develop if they have a desire to, right?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. But they need to develop it in an atmosphere where they're safe. They
Hmm.
need to learn some structure and some rules to it, and that helps them do it in a guided way.
Right.
So,
And then you also, some of the other things that you do with your meetup is meditations, right?
yeah.
And you do
I'm
like a theta meditation or something?
right, right. We use brain waves to use different CDs to stimulate certain brain waves because some brain waves are very, very psychic and or produce psychic. In raising those brain waves, it helps us tune in psychically. That's what it does.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm actually up to 29 different classes that I teach.
You have 29 different classes now? Wow.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're really busy, huh? You do this
yeah,
pretty much every day?
yeah. Every single day. Yep.
That's great.
So I
And
teach anywhere from chakras and auras all the way up to like the mediumship and the Reiki. So anywhere in between, I have all kinds of different classes, mind projection, you name it, spirit guides,
cool.
everything,
So
angels.
do you have a website where people can get more information, or just joining the meetup is all you really need to do?
Joining the meetup is probably the best way because then you can see what classes are scheduled.
Mhm.
And all people need to do is email me at conniebell@rcn.com, and I can send them an entire list of my classes, and they can request what they want to learn. And that's how most of my classes get scheduled, by people saying, oh, I want to learn psychometry, which is holding an object and getting information, or I want to learn this or that.
Uh-huh.
And that's how most of my classes get scheduled.
And how many people would you say are in each class on average?
Usually they're fairly small classes when they're skill classes. I don't like to have them too big because I really like to pay attention to people and make sure they're okay doing what they're doing.
Mhm.
So I'm happy if I have 10 to 12. I usually get between 5 and 10 per class.
And where do you see this going long term?
That's a really good question. I have no idea. I mean, I really have no idea at all. None. None. I mean, I never expected it to go this far. So I'm open and just ready for the ride.
Yeah. And have you seen like some pretty interesting success stories with your members of your group?
Oh, yes. Many of them are, came to me not being able to read. And now at this point, they're professional readers.
Wow.
So they've gone through all the steps.
And do you direct them sometimes to other sources of information, or do they get everything they need through what you have to offer?
No, a lot of them will get information from other sources. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I think I give them a good start, a good foundation, and a lot of them are readers. So they'll read a lot of books. They'll take a lot of classes from other people too.
Mhm.
So it's you have to learn from many sources, I think.
Yeah. So what's the most satisfying part about all these changes that you've experienced since you started your meetup?
Wow, that's the big question. Um, Again, just really seeing people develop. I mean, it's just wonderful to see
Yeah.
that. It's amazing to see them understand their gifts and realize them. Oh, amazing.
Uh-huh.
And I'm kind of amazed at, some of the things that I've developed along the way too, because, when you teach, you really are researching a lot. I'm around the energy every day. I'm working in the energy every day. And I think if you had told me 6 years ago that I would be seeing intergalactic people, I would have probably told you, oh, you're crazy. But that's kind of where
Wow.
it's at lately, so.
Does that happen during the theta meditations mostly or anytime?
Well, anytime now, anytime.
What does that mean exactly? You're seeing like creatures from other planets,
Other life forms, yeah.
other life forms, and that are they like with us, just like spirits that have been on Earth before come back that you can see?
I think there's just many, many, many dimensions of lives, different creatures, different living. And I think maybe each dimension of life has a different frequency. So when you can tune into that frequency, you get to see those beings.
Wow, that's really interesting. And that makes a lot of sense that we are not the only kind of creatures out here, you know?
Right.
I had heard that there was like an earlier time where mostly everybody was sea animals or like, maybe mammals that were more aquatic, and now we sort of more land based, but I never really thought about all the intergalactic parts.
Yes, yes. I mean, I think many people have had other lifetimes on in other galaxies, on other planets.
Yeah.
I mean, it just makes sense. Even if you listen to Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, he says that everyone has stardust in their blood.
Right.
So who knows where all we've lived, but it's amazing to be able to peek into these other dimensions and see these other beings. It's incredible sometimes, really incredible.
Wow.
Quite amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm quite honored to be able to see that sometimes. I was never planning on that, Delia.
I know. It must be pretty exciting and kind of scary at the same time.
No, I'm not scared.
No.
I think as you move along in the energy, you get prepared for it in different ways.
Uh-huh.
If you keep studying and keep progressing, and it's just kind of an evolution that takes place.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everybody's ready at different times.
And you're bringing a big crew along with you, and you're in their readiness to
I'm trying.
So tell me what you think about our evolution as a universe or whatever. Like, do you think that there's going to be a whole different kind of understanding about what we're doing here and what our purpose is? And do you think we're evolving into more of a spirit realm?
Well, I'm hoping that we get more tuned into the fact that it's all about love. And it's all, being tied into whoever your creator is that you name as your creator. Let's hope we're becoming more enlightened.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a challenge for all the light workers. It's definitely a challenge for all the light workers out there to keep spreading the word. I have to say, 6 years ago when I started my meetup, there were only like 2 or 3 other meetups in the Philadelphia area for metaphysics. Now there's got to be 60.
Yeah, it's true.
6 years, this area has been inundated with metaphysical, spiritual types of groups. So I think that tells us that there are people out there that want more.
Yeah.
They want more, they need more. They understand that there is more. They're looking.
Yeah.
They're looking for it. They're looking for it.
Yeah, that's great, and they can find it, and that's
right.
So
and that's encouraging. That's encouraging.
It is, and you've really done your part over the past 6 years to help a lot of people get there and to really feel good about their talents and what they're looking for.
Yeah. So I always try and encourage people, even though there's always terrible things going on in the world. I always encourage them to take their energy and send that positive, loving light to the world and help people heal and help people just become positive, and stay in the light.
Yeah.
And the more light we give the world, the better it will be.
Uh-huh. That's awesome.
So let your light shine, everybody.
Uh-huh. All right. Tell us your meetup name again, and then we're anything else you want to end with.
Okay. It is on meetup.com,
Uh-huh.
and it's called the Lansdale Philly Psychic Development Group. Lansdale Philly Psychic Development Group.
And you meet once a month on.
We have a monthly meetup the second Saturday of every month at the Lansdale Library, and then any other day of the week you'll be able to find classes here at my home in Lansdale.
Okay.
And you'll find all those addresses on the meetup site. If you don't want to join meetup, you can always email me at Connie Bell, Conniebell @rcn.com. And just send me your info and I can put you on my mailing list.
Okay.
You can do it that way.
Sounds great. Any final thoughts?
No, I don't think so. Thank you. You're a light being. You're a wonderful light being. You're great, Celia.
Thank you, Connie. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. It was
All
a
right.
great interview. Thank you for participating.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.